chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. So in here, after man was created, human was created, it talk about all the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. That means the structurally they completed. And because of there is morning, there is evening, which means the big cycle is completed. The whole environment was set. Sounds like more like aliens. They agreed, and they all agreed, let the human leads the animals to change the earth or to modify everything, to do the test. And the heavens attach to the earth. Everybody just stay on the same track. Starts day one, they want to see what happens from now on. So when we talk about vast array, that's what I thought about the dimension. 3-dimension or 4-dimension. Right now, we are the animal live in 3-dimension. No, actually 4-dimension, but we view things in 2-dimension. So if the heavens, they live beyond the time, so can we just call them like 5-dimension? So they view everything in 4-dimension or 3-dimension. So they can see through things. They can see through everything. Behind the scenes, things under things. That's what I kind of like that sort mean array, because a vast array, you have a column, you have a row, and in let's say this function is so huge. Earth, stars, animals, bugs, fishes, human activity, all kinds of things, and the heavens environment. If everything in a big array, that's so complicated. I even can't imagine. I can imagine some kind of array, complicated array in the book, but not this kind of array. So I'm kind of like try to understand, like from this vast array, try to see how heavens, they are logic, or should I say, this is a high logic, high methodology, high civilization. They will like do things. So like us, we are heaven's likeness. So logic, structuralized things, they are the heaven gave it to us. And maybe follow these kind of footsteps, we can all the way trace back, maybe closer. Genesis chapter 2. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. Firstly, did the God of heavens, they planned to do everything in 6 days? Or they have to do it in 6 days? Or by the naturally, they did it in 6 days? It's total different things. Firstly, if they planned in 6 days work, which means everything, every step was calculated, right? If they only follow by the nature, do whatever they can do, try to observing, try to make a difference, it's another issue. Or they can do is for 6 days, which means their energy, their capability. So the time is very interesting. Also, why God need a rest? Rest? I mean, unless you're tired, you have nothing to do. Otherwise, why you need a rest? I don't understand. For God need a rest? Does God need to recharge his energy or something? Or some big things happen in heaven he has to take care, so he finished all the work he has been doing, he stopped doing it, so he take a rest. I'm not doing earth things anymore, so earth project is done and I have to take care of other business. That sounds reasonable. I don't know the seventh day really. People call it holy whatever. It's just a day to give a rest, to let yourself like take away from the word, take away from something, to let yourself cool down a little bit, and to view things like in a different angle or a different perspective. So we take a rest. That's good. And for human, because we are the image, we are the likeness of God. So basically, God, they need that kind of seventh day, or they needed this kind of method to let them review their project in a different angle and in a different perspective. That's what I believe. It's called rest. Otherwise, if you're on the same track, they might not just get the result they want. So I really don't care Sabbath day is Saturday or Sunday. I really don't care that issue. I only care is we do need one day. Draw yourself out of this, the worldly things, draw off anything. Try to cool down, try to view from this different perspective. Genesis 2:3. And God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. I always wonder why he wants to take a rest. And when people bless something, it's uncertainty. It's out of my control. So basically, I have a good will, and I'm not really do things over it, but I have my good willing and I have my influence still going on. I hope going towards that direction. That's what I believe. Also, when we talk about the seventh day, it's not like a day 1, day 2, day 3, because we know like the creating everything, the period. So God, like the seventh period, from I believe from the beginning of he finished Adam, Eve, everything, then he should like take a rest. So it's a period, I don't know how long, maybe thousands years, maybe right now still considered seventh day, right? Because he has been done all his work. So I feel God reached certain capacity, his capability. After 6 days, he finished all his work. And when people kind of like, I'm doing something good, and in memory of something, I gonna put some day or some kind of mark, benchmark or something. So when he reached a certain level, 6 days creating work, he feel, yeah, it reached his capability. He needs to take a rest. And he think it's awesome because never did it before, and they made a far away hometown, so I call it holy, to remember, to memorize what I did, what we did. That's how I try to find out. And when it says God rest all the work creating that he had done, which means he exhausted all the methods, or he cannot do anything else to the earth, to this environment, to this abyss. He separated the lights. From the spiritual level, he used his willing power, and from materially, he separate water and the ground, and put the new DNA, or just exhaust all the animal and the water creatures. Also, by he make a human, I believe it's another kind of like he generates either called one uncertainty, or he generates different voice between the heavens. That's what I can tell, because the heaven structure is like different tribes, different races, different high civilization. They get together, they came here, and they made some kind of consensus. But you following things by the power, by some kind of agreement, but you still can do some under table things, right? That's what I feel. This is the account of the heavens and the earth when they were created. When the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. It's keep emphasize earth and the heavens. Feels like earth and heavens, they are inseparable. They combined, just like a twin, like a Gemini. No one can live by its own, which means heavens and the earth, they bonded together. Should I say, two prisoner in one cell. So without earth, heaven cannot exist. Without heavens, earth has no exit, or earth has no the meaning of existence. Also right here, like the heavens, they're big, also they are like unique. They all in one kind of condition. They all surrounding the earth, and they all depend on the earth. As the beginning, the previous verse said, they are in array. The array means they bonded. They in one principle. They were one within the rule. They bonded together. So when the Lord God, he didn't say his name Jehovah, but I guess they just try to avoid directly use his name Jehovah. So it's okay, just call the Lord God, made the earth and heavens. It keep emphasize. Let's say it again. This is his work. Give the credit to him. But it's just heavens and earth. Did anyone notice the others, like other galaxy, other stars? Are they made by God? Didn't say it. From where? From when? No, it didn't say it. So I assume just this earth and the surrounding heavens, maybe solar system or some, but no, I didn't see all the universe. So from here, that's what I understand. and no shrub of the field had yet appeared on the earth, and no plant of the field had yet sprung up, for the Lord God had not sent the rain on the earth, and there was no man to work the ground. So in here, basically talk about without God permission, or without they make one more movement, there's no rain. Rain is kind of like connect the sky and the ground, right? The water connect sky and the ground. And that time, so when God created the land, separate the land and the water, there is no grass, there is no veggie, no nothing. And at this moment, the next sentence talk about is, but streams came up from the earth and watered the whole surface of the ground. So it talks about the streams come out from the ground. I personally still believe this abyss has will. They have will, and the expression is nobody knows what's exactly the ground try to tell, but I believe the stream, that's the expression, because think about it, water covered everything. Now the water and the ground was separated by the force, by a brutal force, because the brutal force can separate the darkness, separate the light from the darkness. So do you think it's a good strategy to fighting the brutal force? No. So what kind of method the abyss gonna use? Right here, I notice God and it's a heaven. How should I say? Heavens and the abyss. They have a total two different strategies. So heaven's strategy is separation. Firstly, they definitely separate, and they add new elements into it, and start to generate the complexity. And after the complexity, they seemingly they form some kind of structure with the heads towards certain things. Actually, it increases more complexity. So that's a heaven structure. But for ground, it's slowly, quiet, and patiently. Think about, I think from this way, our like seven continentals, people use the map they put together. They look like the ground was like a whole piece, That actually make a sense about it, because I don't think a God gonna create a seven continentals separately. If I'm gonna make the ground out of the water, soil out of the water, yeah, one big piece, big chunk, that makes sense. But when the ground try to tell they're willing, I use a very small but steady vibration through the ground. So eventually, after million years, billion years, those some continent sink to the bottom of the ocean, back to the water. Or I release my anger, release my pressure through the volcano. So some island come up, or some islands sink, right? Yeah, and there's some culture were gone. So I feel the ground has expression. Even at certain point, I doubt the stone has life. just the way of expression is a little different. We can talk, but can really stone talk? It depends on how you define the way of a talk. So we use language, but what about the stone's language? Then we have a total different concept we need to understand. So in here, it's very interesting. At the beginning, there is no veggie. Also, there is no veggie, which means God was designed. They were designed for different veggie, different plant for different usage, different purpose. And but there is one question always bothers me. Why he self-direct, self-act? He wrote this script, and he acting in this script. Eventually, he killed himself. So what's the point? What's the point? I don't believe those kind of redemption or sacrifice, whatever. No, it's not that. But let's try to figure out. But streams came up from the earth and watered the whole surface of the ground. See right here, it is like a water. That's the earth, the abyss strategy. Patient, soft, and gradually just take over with the water. So it's kind of like a different culture. Some culture, you set the principles, set the rules, set everything, bam, bam, bam. Yeah, if you do it, do it. If you're not, I'm just brutal force, make you do it. But some culture, maybe, Eastern culture, they are I'd rather use the words called ooze, ooze, ooze. Kind of they have a patience, they're timely, slowly put the C into it and make you kind of little bit tend towards something. I believe that's the method. The Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. So in here, that's very different, because living being, we talk about not living things. Living things like all the animals, did God breathe through their nose? Every one of them? No. They just live right there. But we are very unique. I don't know how Lord used something to make animal. Maybe the soil, maybe the whatever dust or something. But that never mentioned that he breathed through his nostril and to make him alive. So some people think about it. Some people say there is a God make a seed, put a seed into him, right? And I don't know what means a seed, part of God or part of that means God actually incomplete, because when God, it was complete, it's supposed to be complete, but when you give away something, you're not complete anymore. That's very simple. Right here is when the man is very unique, very unique. This first human, yeah, we call him Adam, but actually I don't know that time. We just name him Adam, okay? But what kind of plan God gave to him? So can God make things from nothing? Nope. You have to go through something. Make a human from dust, right? So it has to some kind of foundation. And where's the water? Where the fish come from? Within the water. What's in the water? A lot of bacteria, a lot of virus, a lot of salt, a lot of I don't know dark material, and so you have to do something from something. Only I'm talking about only first day you talk about you separate the lights from the darkness, which means from something. So you can't make something from nothing. You have to from something. So I believe that totally disagree Big Bang Theory. That yeah, he's just like he's a brain damaged anyway. So even he's a doctor, but he's a brain damaged. I totally disagree. Okay. I still remember in Buddha talk about the between the life and the death, and he asked his disciples, and all his disciples has no idea what's the life between death. People say like heartbeats. People say open eyes, talk, whatever. No, and eventually Buddha just did a movement: breathe in, breathe out. That's the breathe. So I have a question: Can we not breathe? Why God want us to live, and why through the breathing, that kind of method? Because of the oxygen is the driven force, or oxygen is the necessity, or breathing is a symbolically means something to the God. Because it's almost all animals need to breathe. Fish almost all needs breathe. Yeah, you have some animals that doesn't really have a lung or some kind of structure, but those are very low, very low structure. So it reflects when you do something, when you create something, it reflects your domain, your like knowledge, your domain. I believe like our image largely godlike, heaven-like. Even I'm thinking, even those animals, if we kind of line up the animals from the apes to the to mammal, to whale, those kind of things, we can line up. We can see they have a lot of similarity. You just like do a little bit of change here, a little bit of change there, make a difference. So highly believe we are the testing guinea pigs, and humans just higher level slave to leading those animals, or to utilize those animals to do some kind of task. That's why I believe. But in order for us to make a difference than those animals, God has to. Means there's no way they make a animal, a high level slave without not losing anything. So God has to give a seed, has to breathe through. It's a physically, I would rather say physically touch. They have to give it through some certain channel.